Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show Tip to Tea. I'm your host, Angie E, where we talk about everything from motivational, inspirational, and, of course, the tea. So tune in every Monday on YouTube and Can TV to watch previous episodes. You don't want to miss it. Today, we have a very interesting topic. We're talking about how do you bounce back after a bad relationship and or marriage. I know y'all know about that, right? But anyway, yes, I got my new co-host here, Miss Angie E. We're going in today. Go grab your cups. Let's tip the tea. So, Ebony, girl, we're talking about, I already know.
It's time.
I already know about how do you bounce back. I'm not saying everybody has a bad experience after a breakup, but a lot of us do.
Yeah.
I know I have in my past.
I definitely.
I've had, some, hey, how do I bounce back? We're going to talk about that. Let's tip the tea. So, we're talking about, I'm going to start with you first.
Okay.
So, first, let me ask you this. Have you ever, or no, I ain't going to say have you ever. What was your experience if you haven't had a bad experience during your breakups? Or marriage or engagement, I don't know. But do you know of anyone, or just, have you heard of it? I watch movies a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
And TV shows. I ain't gonna mention the TV shows, but yeah. So, so yeah. So have you ever?
Well, in my experience, I have actually had some bad ones and some not so bad ones. I can say my worst one was after my engagement. I was like the whole fall down thing. So, move back to my mom's, take everything back, leave a house type thing. Everything was up in the air, and it was really just my restart. So I was just like, I was back at home and starting to be an adult again, being a kid, growing up and starting over. My mom lived a little bit over ways, so it was just a whole new life. I had to get a new job, different source of meaning. We had animals, we had cats. Aww. So that was hard. I always call it my divorce because we were engaged for a while. So but after that, really. It was mostly just taking time for myself, because I feel like being in a relationship, sometimes people tend to lose themselves in the other person. And personally, for me, that's what had happened, and I was lost. So finding myself again and falling back in love with myself and just different ways over time is just, it's been a journey, and that's been the beauty. I've been single since, but I've enjoyed every moment of it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Single are those words.
Yeah, that's okay. You do bounce back, and some people may take a little bit more time than others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people feel like, okay, now what do I do? This was my soulmate. This was my, my everything. Now how do I, get back or bring myself back to who I was.
Right.
And like I said, it takes some people a little bit more time than others. And I know you guys out there, you viewers out there, you can relate. Some of you guys can relate to that. I remember back when, a long time, when I first, I got married. I was very young when I got married. But we was married for 14 years.
Wow.
We had 2 children out of it, 4 altogether, because I had 2 children previous when I met him.
He's so happy
family. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And we stayed, like I said, we was married for 14 years. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Very long time.
And then the kids too and everything.
Yeah.
So after that, how did it go? Your guys' relationship, with the kids and, continuing, move forward, as a family? Was that kind of harder for the bounce back, I guess you could say, part of things?
Well, yeah, sort of. It was. But then I'll say this. I think we outgrew each other.
Okay. That's understandable. Yes, you're very young.
Very young. Maybe teenagers-ish. Well, I'd say no. Probably about 20s, early 20s, very early, 21, 22.
Were you guys high school sweethearts?
No.
You were just young and in love.
Yeah, that's exactly what we thought it was.
Okay.
Not saying that it wasn't love, but I think in the beginning, because we were together 5 years before we got married.
Okay.
So that helped.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning I didn't like him. I don't don't think we liked each other. We just was doing something. And then all of a sudden, it just happened. Right? We fell in love, and then, you know, next thing I know, I got pregnant, and then we got married. You know what I'm saying? So it was great. Like I said, 14 years is a long time to be with someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but I got friends that told me 30 years, 25 years, how do you do it? But, you know, I had to learn. I just had a girlfriend, her and her husband just celebrated 30 years of marriage.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. Oh, wow, that's awesome.
And I just asked, what is the secret? And she goes, this is what she told me. She said, a lot of prayer and a lot of forgiveness.
Oh, yeah. I actually hear that a lot, yes.
So I kind of know that.
Yeah.
Put two and two together, I'm like, oh, I know what that meant.
I understand.
So she told me, and she said that once you did, she said one time she fell asleep praying.
Oh, wow.
But she's starting to see her prayers manifest in her marriage.
Well, see, there it goes. You know, that's what was on her mind. That's what's on her heart. That's what stayed on her. And, you know, it's growing from there. Yeah. I don't know. When it comes to, like, when she says, you know, a lot of forgiveness and when people in marriage and relationships, and it always makes me wonder, like, when people say, you know, it's just, you got to pick the lesser of two evils, you know, or you got to find somebody's BS that you're willing to deal with for the rest of your life. And I feel like, is that really the case? Is that like I'm just gonna find somebody I'm willing to deal with their nonsense for the rest of my life?
You know what? I'm glad you said that. And I know viewers out there, you guys, I'm telling y'all got your cups, you're tipping the tea. Come on now, I'm telling you, we're tipping the tea today because we're talking about something very important. You know, if you just tuned in, we're talking about today's topic is how do you bounce back after a bad relationship or marriage. So now here's the thing. I did some research, and like I said, I do talk to a lot of my friends and stuff that's been married and in relationships for a very long time, and I hear a lot of dealing with someone else's personality, their character, and it's both of you are coming together.
Right.
Now sometimes, like, I'm gonna tell you something, this may be funny, but when I was married to this man for 14 years, when we first got together, you never know a person till you live with them.
Oh, yeah.
I know I probably had some flaws, but the main thing that I could not stand. After I go wash dishes, I washed every dish, right?
Dishes are the worst.
He'll eat and go get one bowl, and he'll eat whatever, his cereal or whatever, and he'll put the one bowl in the sink, won't wash it out. That drove me nuts.
Yeah, that's the
thing. Because I'm like, that was like a breaking point.
That was it?
I'm like,
I
you
feel
mean it. Okay. Because then I was young too, so I started thinking, okay, now he think I'm a slave.
Yeah, like I just have to work for him. Oh my gosh, no, yeah.
I couldn't do it. And so I would tell him, he was like, what is it that you always, you know, fussing about? But he didn't say that.
But
I said, you mean to tell me, you saw me standing up over, you couldn't even, first off, you couldn't even wash the dishes.
Then, they were there all day.
Right, you're going to go and just eat a bowl of cereal and just put it in, you really?
Like, I just wash the dishes.
Okay, no more dishes in the sink, so let me just at least rinse out my bowl.
At least rinse it. Oh, man.
So once I got that,
no.
I didn't know that back in the day when you was younger, you can talk about things.
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to fuss about it.
I was a fusser.
But I didn't get nowhere. So I said, well, let me do something a little different. So when I sat down and I said, look, here's the deal. It's either you're going to wash your bowl out and help me wash these dishes, or I'm leaving.
Yep.
He sat there, he listened, and he was real quiet. And he said, after I finished talking, he said, are you finished? You done? I said, yeah. I said, I'm telling you now, I'm going to pack up me and my kids and we got to go. He said, so you're going to leave me because I leave one bowl in the sink. I said, do you know how hard it is? First off, when you sit and wash all these dishes behind all these children that we have.
The kids.
And then first you can at least tell me, well, Angela, I'll wash the dishes from dinner. As long as you do one with breakfast. Let's work together.
Teamwork make the dream work, right?
Wow, at least I thought.
Well,
So after that, we did.
we worked for a little bit.
We worked for a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, so, yeah. So after that, though, even when I'm kind of fast forwarding, so when we finally got a divorce, I did kind of thought back on a lot of things. Angie, you didn't have, you know how you reflect back on things?
Yes, absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
those are small things. Like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
My question for that would be, were there like a lot of small things that added up, or was it like a mix of big and small things? From my experience, bouncing back, yeah, when I was reflecting, like, yes, okay. After a while, I did start getting on whatever about the small things, but that's because I was already, because I was reflecting, but like I was already talking about the big things and just, like trying to find solutions and being communicative, but it wasn't working. So I was like, okay, well, okay, fine. Well, that, and it was the laundry.
man, it's so base. I don't understand a lot of them. I'm not talking about you guys, but I'm telling you, you guys can at least help out sometime. Yeah, the men out there that's watching, yeah, you guys put some work in.
Put some work in. I mean, I don't know, something.
I mean, help with the kids.
I have a lot of great men friends, and they help with everything, but like the relationship part, the boyfriends and stuff, like, I don't know. So help them out, right? I don't know. You guys can help.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Communication, I guess.
Yeah.
He'll talk it out, hopefully.
Yeah. I know, right? So, back to when we finally divorced after fast forwarding now. Well, it was some other stuff that happened after. Like I said, we were very young, and we started outgrowing each other.
Right.
And girl, I started, hooking up with friends, and wasn't married. Wasn't married.
Yep.
So you know what that means. And I'm sure he was hooking up with friends. Right. And he hooked up with some friends, hanging around with his boys.
Doing the boys thing, we're doing the guys.
So, hey, I'm like, hey, so after, once we just kind of grew apart.
Right.
And after that, next thing I know, I'm like, I'm getting divorced. And after that, I think I started to feel, in my lonely moments or my alone moments, I'll say alone moments, not lonely. I started reflecting, and it did. It kind of set me back a little bit because he was all I knew, really.
Right, absolutely. For a long time, and it was the familiarity and all that good stuff.
And then I didn't date for like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's wrong with me? I didn't, I started saying, am I ugly or something? But it wasn't that too much. It's that every time I would date, or try to, I wouldn't say date, I would meet someone and then we'll talk on the phone.
Yes.
And then when they start feeling like they're getting close, I would back out.
Yeah.
So
But sometimes they go too fast. I don't know.
I don't know what you call that, when you rebound stuff or whatever.
Yeah, you kind of rebounds. I don't know. I feel like maybe you're just getting your feet in the water. I mean, especially after you were with them for 14 years. That's a long time. You have to kind of figure out what you want. You got to kind of figure out if you want to talk to people. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to talk to people.
And I think after a while, we both was trying to figure out how come we're not.
It was weird.
Yeah, because, and then we would find ourselves talking on the phone again. Like, I'm like, look, I'm
no.
And he was like, well, you really all I knew. And I'm like, you all I knew too, but I'm not going to go back to this.
There's a whole world out there.
Yeah, so we ended up, after I believe we both bounced back, and came to ourselves again and started to know who we were and all that, we became good friends. And do you know, he started letting me meet the women he was dating, so I could get he could get my approval. Isn't that crazy? Like,
I don't know. I kind of like it.
he
It's like, that's kind of like, oh, you're mine forever type thing. Like, it doesn't matter, you know. All my women still have to go through, you. But it's not even like that. There's still always that love. Oops. There's still always that love. You know, that's nice. That's why I got excited.
No, and then, I can't say the names on the phone. Do you know he started dating a woman, her name was similar to mine?
Oh, my.
Yeah.
I feel like that's weird.
It was times when he would, call her. And she called me.
And to talk about it, I'm like, this is weird.
I'm saying to myself, bounce back.
Bounce back, yep. Bounce back, bounce back.
Bounce back, you know. But anyway, it was not good, and I ended up for some reason having to give her some advice because she asked me, "How do you deal with them? How did you deal with them? How did you deal with them?" I'm like, "Well, I was young, and I had a little bit more patience then." But he old now. Like you're gonna get all the stuff that you know what I'm saying, the residue and all that. But I don't know. We're going to talk about that on the next show. We're going to talk about the residue of a relationship, bringing it into, bringing your past, like residue from your past relationship into the new relationship. That's going to be a good topic, guys. You don't want to miss it.
You don't want to miss it. She's got a bunch of great ones.
I know, right? This is everyday stuff, though. You know, and I think it's good for us to talk about everyday stuff because it's real.
Yeah, and people are going through it every day. I mean,
it's crazy.
I love it.
You guys out there, how do you bounce back after a bad relationship and or marriage?
Did you find yourself like digging into like any more, like any old hobbies that you used to have before? I don't know. I don't know. Like just finding any new releases.
Yeah, I did. I started dancing.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And then I was roller skating. I'm telling you, I found a lot of leisure time.
Yeah.
You know, because I had to find that within me. I had to find myself again, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, after being married with children and all that stuff, and I'm like, wow, and the kids started growing up, and I'm like, okay, I think I can, you know, do me now. And so, yeah, and I had a ball because I started meeting new people, and I started being... You know, being me. Yeah. And that felt good.
Yeah, you were like finally your own person. Wow.
And that was amazing. I did not know that I could have so much fun being me.
Yeah, I find that out more and more every day. Yes, I'm actually going to do that right now, yes.
I did not know. Bouncing back after a bad relationship or a marriage. Then I've had friends that had marriages where they totally lost themselves.
Oh, yes.
Went into very bad depression and mental health issues. And that's another segment we're going to do on that one, too.
Yes.
Mental health is really real. And a lot of them tell me, they say, Angie, I did not know I had mental health issues until that happened.
Well, yeah, I feel like mental health because it's always triggered by some traumatic experience, I feel like, and being that much, you know, indebted and in love with someone, that could really, you know, it gets to you. So I know a lot of people also have gone through those type of things. I feel like that would be a great thing for us to talk about.
Glad we're talking about this. Did you hear about this? Is such a sad situation. I heard it on the news about a week ago. Did you hear about that rapper? He was a young rapper. He killed himself over, I think it was a bad breakup with his girlfriend. It was in the media.
Oh my!
Well,
I didn't hear about it. Oh my!
And something, I saw something else on the news, and they were saying that they came to find out the motive. There's so many of them. But they were saying that was the main motive. Something about he killed himself over his girlfriend. She broke up with him.
See, and that just goes to show like how far, you know, people can get, and I feel like it never is that bad, you know, it never has to be that bad. So make sure mental health, exactly, mental health is real. So you always should make sure you have someone that you can talk to. And not only that, if you don't have someone you can talk to, just like a release for a long time. You know, I've had a big thing with communication, so I've always just had a journal, and you know, if I wasn't able to talk about things, it's just write everything, you know, anything in your head, and it just, it helps a lot.
And I was just looking, I'm like so sad to hear this kid was up and coming, very
They're probably young and
up and coming star, and this happens to him, and that's terrible. But I've heard of that. Even I've heard of this one celebrity singer. This was in the 70s. He killed himself.
My goodness.
Over a bad breakup. And
see, that's so sad. Yeah. And I feel like, mental illness is a real thing.
Yeah.
And that's why,
people can't handle it.
You can't.
They just can't handle. That I remember another a friend of mine. He's a guy. He told me when he was married to his girl. I think they was married 17 years.
Oh, wow.
And he said when she divorced, she just one day he came home and everything was gone. And he said that he said, Angela, my breath, I couldn't even breathe. He had an anxiety so bad that he couldn't breathe, so he ended up in the emergency room. And I don't think, and I'm going to be honest with you, and that was probably been about 10 years ago, he said he's still not the same.
Oh, my.
So that's, I'm so glad that we're talking about this and make this an episode because number one, sometimes being away from a person that you truly love and all you know is them, and then all of a sudden it ends. Mm-hmm. You have to know how to bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to, it's really serious.
Yeah, and I think another big part of that is being okay with being alone, like knowing that it's okay to be alone.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Because that's a really big thing. People, when they're alone, their thoughts run wild and they're left to their own devices. But it's okay to be alone, and it is okay to break down and fall apart and feel those feelings, because if you don't let all that out and you hold, then those are the things that happen, and you don't want to get into bad patterns when, say, you go through a bad breakup and I go through a whole depressing cycle, and then I just don't feel better until I get another boyfriend and move him back in, and then I wake up again and do it again. I know someone like that, and it's okay to be alone. It is. And it's okay because you know why? And it's okay to get to know who you are and have fun with you. That's honestly some of the best time. Yes.
Look, you're more at peace. Sometimes then finding different leisure things, like maybe take a roller skating class or dancing class or bowling class, something.
Yes, finding new things you like, which leads you, it gives you new releases, finds you more peace.
Absolutely.
Who knows what it could lead you to? Finally find a new relationship. I don't know. Once you find yourself out, definitely take your time.
Don't bring the residue from the last relationship into the new. Okay? Because that's a big no-no, too. That's not good. Unless it's good residue, okay? Not the bad one, but if it's a good residue, then, hey, we welcome it.
And when you say that, absolutely. It's just like any relationship, I always feel like anything can be learned from any relationship. So you say, good residue, just learn something. As long as you learn something from those beautiful 14 years that you got to spend, I got to learn something from that engagement, and you guys get to learn something from those little and big relationships. Take that good residue with you. I'm with all that jazz. Absolutely.
Don't compare, viewers. Don't compare your new relationship to your past, because I've heard that too. I've got so many reviews about that. People saying, well, you know what? When I was with so-and-so, they didn't iron their clothes like that.
My answer would be you can go be with so-and-so.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. Don't compare. No. That's a big no-no, And then if you want to be alone, that a person, I know me, ain't no way I can stay in that. I'm wrong. I can't, do not do that.
I couldn't.
So that kind of spoils a relationship too.
Absolutely.
And then because I've heard of friends say, well, you know what? I know I did wrong. I had friends to call and they cried. The guy that I was telling you about, he would cry to me every day, and he was like, Angela, I did some horrible things that I regret.
Yeah,
but I think that's good because at least he's been a real man. A real man admit his wrong.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. And for the men out there,
and women,
it's okay to cry. See, a lot of men was taught not to cry. It's you soft.
Right.
You a lame, or real men don't cry. What you doing? Like no.
Don't do that. Don't No. Everybody has
You've
emotions.
been taught wrong. Because guess what? Real men do cry.
Yeah.
Real men do express their feelings.
Absolutely.
And it's okay.
Yes, I feel like sometimes they do it a little more than women. But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I feel like, there's levels. I mean, you have to be able to express your emotions and your feelings. You have to be able to cry and laugh. You have to be able to go through that. So, like, you're a person, Don't be a robot.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why a lot of people get miserable, keeping in all those negative emotions and those negative feelings. Let it out. Have a cry party.
And then also, too, I've heard, I even did some study and research about, like I would tell my friend, and he said, don't take this the wrong way, Beers, but I got to say this. He was a black man. And I told him, I said, why don't you go seek help? It's okay. And he went off on me. He said, what black man go and sit on somebody's couch? Don't no black men go for no counseling. Being taught wrong. I said, where did you get that from? Who told you that?
Anybody can get counseling.
Anybody, no matter what, are y'all hearing me? No matter what creed, color, or race. If you need to be canceled, it's okay.
Yeah, if you feel like you need help, even if you don't know if you need help, go ask. Find out. It doesn't matter.
That doesn't mean that you're crazy or you're lame or whatever. It means that you need some help or you need to sit down and talk to someone. That's all it means.
Yeah. That you want to be a better you.
Yeah.
You're acknowledging that there's something there.
That out what you holding in.
Yes.
A lot of men are private too.
Yes,
They're
absolutely.
very, very private, and they have a lot of pride. So for all you private men, break that barrier and stop being so prideful. Number one, God doesn't like a pride spirit. Okay, so I just need to throw that out there. But and
it's okay to ask for help. Yeah. Come on, let them know. I know. Yeah. It's okay, guys. I'm right there with you.
No, exactly.
No, but
okay.
It's okay. And that's...
It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, and that's going through it. When people are going through it, I don't want anybody to see me crying. I don't like the people to see me weak, No, I be crying sometimes.
Foolishness.
Yes.
If you need help, you need help. That's it. I think getting help helps.
Yes. Getting help helps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay.
Yes.
I believe it's just okay to be helped.
I feel like a lot of people feel way better, like friends, family that I've talked to that have gotten help, for things and issues and mental health, things like that. They always say how much better. But of course, there's those nerves and I'm scared, I don't know what I want to do, I just want to run out the door before I go in, but every time afterwards, they're like, and I'm so happy I did it, I mean, I feel like a new person, or this is a release that I never thought I'd have, there's beauty, and the people see the light in things again, and that's my big thing. I always try to find the light in any situation, because even in a dark situation, when you're down, there's nothing else to do but look up. So, I mean, that's it. And I don't know. Yeah. So if get help, you'll love it. You'll love it. Yeah.
So it's okay to get help, guys. It really is. And hey, bouncing back after a bad relationship or marriage, hey, know who you are and get a chance to love you again. It's okay too. It's okay. So we got to do another segment on this. This is
I'd be down.
good. Yeah.
It'd be wonderful.
This is really good.
Loving ourselves and getting back to life. I would love it.
It's not the end of the world, my grandma would say. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, when you're in a relationship and you're used to that person and you love them, and it ends, sometimes it's not easy. Oh, of course not.
No, right, exactly.
But you gotta know that you have to get back into you and love you again.
Yeah, because I mean, that person, you know, they're not going to stop, you know.
Yeah.
We can sit there and whatever, but the world keeps spinning, and it will always continue to spin. So
Yeah,
you got to make the most of everything.
That's right. Time is of the essence. You know, once you start spending more time with yourself
Yes.
and loving yourself and knowing who you really are, that's everything.
It is.
You know, but not everybody can do it. And I'm not saying that y'all get over it and be all cocky. No.
No, it's harder than you think. Yeah, it is hard. It's harder than you think.
It's really hard. You know, your heart is in something. You put your everything into something,
Absolutely.
and then now all of a sudden change. That is hard.
Yeah, and then, you know, those things that you uncover about yourself when you're going through that healing process, you know, those are hard too. And then still you are by yourself, but that's another part of the building. And it's a very beautiful building. It's like a butterfly in their cocoon. You know, they're just a caterpillar in their cocoon. They're just turning into butterflies.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's okay. Like I said, relationships, you know, the bounce back is not always easy.
It's not, but you can get through it.
You can get, there you go.
Absolutely.
You can get through it. So we're going to go into our last closing remarks. You have anything else, to say to the viewers out there in closing?
Guys, it doesn't matter how long you've been single, and it doesn't matter how long you want to be single. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to find you again. Just do it. Just find yourself and love yourself, because I feel like that's the best relationship you could ever have.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with Ebony Jade. I'm telling you guys, you can make it. You just have to, first, I think, put God first and put God in your relationship. Let God be the first and the forefront, I say that right, of your relationship. And you're still going to have some issues, but still, as long as you know and that you can go to God in prayer, you know, I believe that it will work. But if it doesn't, know that God will still cover you and protect you. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to close out Tip to Tea with Angie E and Ebony Jade. So see you guys next time on Tip to Tea. Brian. Okay. 32 minutes? Okay. See?